During the 5 poorest years of Fu Chuan's youth, I lived with him in a basement for 5 years. I passed away due to illness just as he earned his first 30 million. Later, on the day he became the wealthiest person in North City, I was reborn. I wasn't in a good mood during that time either. My parents forced me to break up with Fu Chuan and even introduced me to other blind dates, after being a stubborn holdout in the river of oblivion for 2 years. The King of Hell found me annoying and gave me a chance to fulfill my final wish. He allowed me to return to the mortal world. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing in a bustling subway station. Huge billboards and electronic screens in the subway station were filled with advertisements for the Fu Corporation. I raised my hand, caressing that familiar face above, unable to hold back my tears. A few schoolgirls were holding up their phones, taking pictures from various angles. One long-haired girl, with a starstruck expression, said, "Fu Chuan's latest advertisement is just too handsome. He completely outshines all the fresh faces and celebrities in the industry. No wonder his company always has a CEO star in their ads. With looks like that, it'd be a waste not to. High IQ, top-tier education, incredibly handsome, and no scandals. He's practically my dream husband Tilda. Can you believe it? Such a top-tier, high-quality man is only 25 years old, oh my god." The short-haired girl taking photos pouted, "What a shame he's already married, and so young at that." The long-haired girl said nonchalantly, "Are you talking about his short-lived wife? She's been dead for ages. What does it matter? It's not like he should stay a widower for the rest of his life at such a young age, right?" "You're absolutely right," I couldn't help but agree. The girl was startled by me and rolled her eyes in displeasure, saying, "Who are you?" I wiped my face with my hand and murmured, "Me, I'm Fu Chuan's wife." A few girls burst into laughter, mocking me. "Fu Chuan has driven another one crazy with his looks. Hey lady, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the puddle?" Then they treated me like a lunatic, chatting and laughing as they walked away. After their reminder, I finally snapped back to reality. I quickly ran to the bathroom to look in the mirror. As soon as I looked in the mirror, my heart sank halfway. A face so ordinary it would be impossible to pick out in a crowd, utterly unremarkable. I'm feeling a bit unwell. In my previous life, at least I had a pretty face, so when I first moved into Fu Chuan's house, he had broken his leg and was in a terrible mood. He would harshly chase away anyone who went to see him. Back then, relying on my good looks, I barged into his life with my small suitcase in tow. Just like that, a few days ago, he didn't even let me through the door. I just hugged my knees and slept by the door in my sleeping bag for a few days. On the third night, the temperature suddenly dropped, and I sneezed over a dozen times outside. The door suddenly swung open, and I, who had been leaning against it, fell backward, nearly taking a hard tumble, but a pair of arms caught me steadily. Yet then he pushed me away with a look of disdain and wheeled his chair into the room. Judging by his awkward expression, I knew he had softened. Back then, Fu Chuan couldn't stand it when I acted cute. During my junior year, I went to see a traditional Chinese doctor. To save money and to help his leg recover faster, I taught myself acupuncture and ended up poking my own legs until there wasn't a patch of healthy skin left. He saw it later. His eyes instantly reddened, but he was also very angry. I hugged his arm and acted coquettishly, and all his anger vanished. Then, with a cold, handsome face, he came over to pinch my cheek, his tone still fierce. "Try stabbing yourself again next time." But now, this face in the mirror, I tried making a coquettish expression, then I fell into silence. If I went to find Fu Chuan with this face and told him I was his ill-fated, short-lived wife, Fu Chuan would probably be so scared he'd call the police. But I miss him so much. I really want to see him. The phone vibrated. I received a call from a woman. "Hey, Xiao He, what's going on? Didn't we agree to have an interview this afternoon? Why haven't you arrived yet? I'm surprised." An interview? The other person clicked their tongue. "Have you lost your mind? How could you forget something so important? This is for a housekeeping job at the home of the CEO of the Fu Corporation. Where else would you find such a great opportunity?" Fu Chuan. I almost cried out. Someone was talking next to the woman, and she reminded me again. "Hurry up, there's only an hour left. Didn't I already send you the address?" After hanging up the phone, I found the text message with the address. Then I quickly took the subway to get there. The address was far away. After getting off the subway, I took the bus to the nearest stop. I walked for another half-hour before arriving. I was drenched in sweat, and just as I was about to arrive, a light rain started, leaving me in a sorry state. After hesitating for a moment, I finally rang the doorbell. The door opened. A young woman's face appeared behind the door. The woman was still wearing loungewear. I froze for a moment when I saw what she was wearing. Immediately, a faint ache began to throb deep within my heart. The woman glanced at me and asked, "Are you the nanny here for the interview today?" I nodded. As she walked inside, she began explaining things to me. The previous housekeeper at Mr. Fu's place resigned. There isn't much housework to do, and Mr. Fu rarely eats at home. You'll mainly be responsible for keeping the place clean. Oh, and Mr. Fu has trouble sleeping, so remember to keep quiet at all times. There's a locked room on the second floor that you must not enter. Be very careful about this. Don't go poking around. The items in the house are very expensive, and if you break anything, you won't be able to afford to replace it. As she led me upstairs for a tour, she looked me over and said, "The servants' room is at the end of the hallway on the second floor. You look quite young. And I see you have a high level of education. Why would you want to become a nanny?" I was just about to come up with an excuse to brush her off when she smiled and said, "But I've seen plenty of girls like you. After all, Mr. Fu is so outstanding, but it's best to keep any inappropriate thoughts to yourself. Mr. Fu has very high standards." I didn't really hear what she said after that. I just stared unblinkingly in the direction of the master bedroom. "Is our Chuan resting now?" The woman glanced at her watch, as if reminding me, "Mr. Fu is not at home. He has gone abroad, and his flight is probably tomorrow morning. Just have Mr. Fu's change of clothes and breakfast ready tomorrow morning." I nodded blankly. She went to the guest room, changed into professional attire, and left. Besides me, there were a driver and a gardener at the Fu residence. The driver, old Lee, exchanged a few words with me, and I couldn't help but ask, "Who is that person?" "Old Lee, you mean Miss Chen Anna. She's Secretary Fu's assistant. She handles all matters for Secretary Fu, both at the company and in daily life. It seems Secretary Fu is quite fond of Miss Chen." A sour taste quickly spread. I have always understood the principle that once someone leaves, the tea grows cold. I never expected Fu Chuan to remain unmarried for my sake until his 100th year, but when I learned that a new girlfriend had appeared by his side, I still felt very sad. When old Lee took me for a stroll in the garden, a huge dark shadow suddenly darted out from the side, directly pouncing on me and then frantically licking my face. I saw clearly what was in my arms. Dodo. Back when I first found Dodo, it was still just a palm-sized puppy. Fu Chuan didn't like cats or dogs. When I secretly tucked Dudu inside my coat to bring him home, Fu Chuan caught me red-handed. His foot had improved by then, and he had started to be able to walk with a cane. When he saw Dudu in my arms, his frown was so deep it could have crushed a mosquito. "Shall we raise it together?" I pestered him, constantly whispering in his ear, "Look how adorable it is. Having a dog is wonderful. Who knows, maybe someday when I'm no longer around, it can keep you company." But he suddenly flew into a rage. "How long do dogs even live? When Jixia, what nonsense are you talking? Do you even understand the concept of avoiding ominous words?" Last week when I went home, my mom pulled me aside and said, Shia, although Fu Chuan is a reliable person, his circumstances are really poor. He's an illegitimate child. His family doesn't acknowledge him. His mother passed away early, and his leg is injured. Do you really plan to go and lift him out of poverty? Haven't we heard enough stories about heartless men? I just told them, Fu Chuan isn't that kind of person. So when Fu Chuan got angry at me, my tears immediately started streaming down. I held Dodo and ran to the rental apartment. His childhood conditions were quite good, but his family fell into decline. He would absolutely not be the kind of person who is unfaithful and heartless. Not many people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. There are those who come from poor families but have ambition. They need time to grow, without any pride. I crouched in the small garden downstairs and cried the whole time. After half an hour, just as I was getting angry that Fu Chuan hadn't come down to look for me, I stood up and craned my neck to peer toward the stairwell. A tall shadow appeared behind me. Fu Chuan's pants were covered in mud, and his arms were scraped, clearly having taken a fall. His dark eyes locked onto me intently. And finally, he reached out to hug me, then ruffled my hair. "Be good, don't be angry." I spoke too loudly. "You can keep whatever you want. I have no objections." It turned out that as soon as I ran out the door, he came chasing after me. I was wrong. I was running fast, and he was on crutches. So he hurriedly chased me all the way outside the residential area. He even fell down outside. From that day on, Dodo officially became a member of our family. It's just that it's been so long since we last saw each other. Dodo has become an old dog now. Old Lee was so startled that he quickly pulled Dodo aside. Sorry, did I scare you? This dog is usually quite fierce. Whenever a stranger comes to the house, it barks at them. Hey, it's strange today. I don't know why it's being so affectionate with you." I stood up from the ground and looked down at Dodo. Dodo stared at me with unblinking, moist eyes. Its mouth was panting heavily. From time to time, it still twitches a few times. I was about to cry, so I quickly turned my face away. Maybe it's because I have a dog at home too, so I have the scent of a pet on me. Old Lee nodded. That's quite good. The previous helpers didn't dare to feed it, thinking it was very fierce. Old Lee had something to attend to and left. I took advantage of the moment when no one was around. I rushed towards Dudu, who was tied up next to the doghouse. I buried my face in its back. Tears and snot streaming down. Dudu was howling too. This is the first time I've heard such a sorrowful cry from a dog. Just as I was crying uncontrollably, catching my breath between sobs, a familiar, deep male voice sounded from behind me. Compared to 2 years ago, his voice carried more maturity and steadiness. When I heard Fu Chuan's voice, "Who are you?" I was so scared that my whole body stiffened, and I didn't dare to move. My mind was buzzing and completely blank. Dudu obediently rested his chin on my thigh, peeking at Fu Chuan behind me with just his eyes showing. "Turn around." The man's voice was full of pressure. "Haven't figured out how to face him yet. Dodo, come here." I didn't move, probably afraid that I, a stranger, might harm Dudu. Fu Chuan called out to Dudu, his voice softening a bit more compared to when he questioned me. But Dudu remained motionless, buried in my arms. Fu Chuan's patience had likely worn thin by now. He said impatiently, "I'll ask you one last time, who are you, and why are you in my house, so fierce?" Old Lee rushed over to help me out. President Fu, this is He Ping, the new housekeeper." Only then did I turn around, but she kept her head down the whole time, not daring to look at him. Only then did Fu Chuan relax his guard, but seeing how affectionate Dodo was with me, Old Lee chimed in to explain, "Her family also has a dog." I suppose Dodo caught the scent. It's a good thing Dodo isn't aggressive toward her. I gently patted Dodo's bottom. He frowned. It then lowered its head and reluctantly walked over to Fu Chuan. Fu Chuan bent down and patted its head, saying, "You little ingrate, have you forgotten your dad so quickly?" He was so gentle when he spoke to Dudu. Just like how he used to comfort me. Back when we had no money, we rented in a very old neighborhood, and it was a basement, at night. It was so cold that the water pipes would freeze. At that time, we couldn't even afford the heating bill, so we would sleep in our clothes, huddled under the blankets, with Dudu sleeping at our feet to keep them warm. Fu Chuan would then tuck my hand against his chest. I fell asleep slowly while counting his heartbeat and the sound of his breathing. After nightfall, I turned over because of the heat. He was still holding me tightly, in my drowsy state. I felt him place a kiss on the back of my neck and say, Shia, in the future, I will definitely give you a good life, a big house, and let you dress beautifully every day." I believe him, always have, just as Fu Chuan was working desperately hard and had dug up his first pot of gold. He took my hand and led me to a newly built, beautiful residential area. He placed the key in my hand, then he pushed the door open. He picked me up and spun me around in circles in the room, then he kissed me earnestly. Shia, we have a home now." I buried my head in his chest, tears streaming down like rain. "I just went to the hospital. I got the diagnostic report. He didn't know. I have cancer. Since getting sick, I've been trying hard to cooperate with the treatment and take my medicine on time, but the results haven't been good at all. Luckily, it didn't fall on me. I have less than a month left. I don't want to die. I want to live. A Chuan and I have just started our future together. How can it end like this?" The day Fu Chuan found my diagnosis report in the cabinet, I saw him freeze for a moment. Then he walked to the balcony and smoked in silence. A long while later, I saw him leaning against the wall, covering his face and weeping silently. crying so hard his whole body trembled, after gathering his emotions. He returned to my bedside and knelt down. He held my hand, kissing it over and over. The back of my hand was damp. Shia. He thought I was asleep. Don't be afraid, even in death, I will accompany you on the road to the underworld. But I firmly covered his mouth. Fu Chuan, I made a solemn vow. If you dare do something foolish for my sake, I will never forgive you, even in death. In my next life, I absolutely will not wait for you anymore. I pointed to Dodo lying on the carpet by the bed. You still have Dodo. If you die too, Dodo will have no mom or dad. He's already so old. What if he gets sold by bad people? I forced him to make a solemn vow as well. That was the first time I had ever seen such a large, grown man kneeling on the ground, crying so helplessly and sorrowfully. Tears were about to fall again. I was just about to speak, wanting to say something to him now. Miss Chen Anna appeared. She walked over with a stack of documents and then reported some company updates to him. Fu Chuan listened quietly, occasionally lowering his head to play with Dudu. Chen Anna noticed me standing nearby. President Fu went home early. This is a common occurrence. You shouldn't just stand here either. Go prepare dinner. Pay attention to, I instinctively continued, less oil and salt, no cilantro, allergic to strawberries and eggs. Right, I finished speaking. Chen Anna and Fu Chuan both looked at me, especially Fu Chuan. The air fell silent for a moment. His gaze towards me changed slightly. I quickly added, oh, the company introducer showed me the materials, and I've memorized them all, but Chen Anna didn't seem to believe me. In a couple of days, there will be a dedicated cook starting work at home. Why did you memorize all that? I felt flustered under Fu Chuan's meaningful gaze. I immediately explained again, oh. The company has strict requirements. Even if it's just a 2-day substitute, I still have to memorize all of this. Chen Anna seemed to want to say something more. Bring me the schedule for tomorrow's company meeting to have a look. However, Fu Chuan didn't seem to want to continue this topic. Chen Anna had no choice but to shift the focus away from me. Alright, I'll go get it from the car. I don't know why, I feel that Miss Chen holds a strong animosity towards me. I'm going to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Actually, I'm not very good at cooking. After all these years with Fu Chuan, I still haven't learned how to cook. Usually, he's busy with work and studies, and at mealtime, he still has to find time to help me cook. Once, I saw that he was so tired he could barely keep his eyes open. I told him to go lie down in the room for a while. The rice still ended up burnt in the end. Just as I was worrying about it, Fu Chuan woke up. Leaning lazily against the doorframe with his arms crossed, he looked at me and smiled. Seeing how stressed I looked, he walked over, put a few cloves of garlic into the rice, and stuck in a few scallions. Is that all? He curved his lips without answering directly, just turned his head to catch my lips and kissed me slowly. The rice is a bit burnt again. I took the chance while no one noticed. Hiss. I hurriedly and flusteredly added some scallions and garlic. After a while, sure enough, the rice no longer had any burnt smell. I set the table with the food. As soon as Chen Anna saw the dishes on the table, her eyes nearly popped out of her head. Is this it? You're serving General Manager Fu with shredded potatoes, stir-fried pork, and mapo tofu. I was dumbfounded. What's wrong with these dishes? These are the best dishes I can make. What's the matter? Now that you're a CEO, you don't eat home-cooked meals anymore. Do you expect to have lobster and abalone every day? Chen Anna rolled her eyes. So greasy, and so ordinary. Forget it. I'll call the cooking aunt and urge her to come quickly. No need. Fu Chuan had already walked over and sat down directly at the table. Home-cooked dishes are just fine. When he saw the food on the table and tasted the shredded potatoes, he froze for a moment. Probably scared by the potato strips I cut thicker than my fingers, he didn't touch his chopsticks for a long while. He just lowered his eyes and stared motionlessly at that plate of potato strips. I felt embarrassed myself. Mr. Fu, I'm all thumbs and really not good at cooking. Otherwise, let's have someone redo it. Seeing Fu Chuan remain silent, Chen Anna picked up a pair of chopsticks and tasted it. She paused for a moment. It's not that you're not good at it. You simply don't know how, do you? It's so salty, and you even added chili peppers. How can anyone eat this, Secretary Chen? Fu Chuan suddenly interrupted her complaints. You should get off work now. Chen Anna still wanted to say something, Fu Chuan raised his hand and waved, as if shooing someone away. Chen Anna pointed at me and left angrily. Don't be afraid. Fu Chuan still didn't look at me. He reached out with his chopsticks to pick up another dish. You cooked very well, it suits my taste. I perked up. Then can I continue cooking for you? He didn't look at me. Only then did I dare to carefully observe him. He had become so thin, his cheeks were slightly sunken against the muscles, making him appear somewhat sharp. He used to be so healthy when I was taking care of him, with a body full of well-defined muscles. No need, he rejected my offer to cook. It seems it really was unpalatable. Cooking is exhausting. He began, just focus on your own responsibilities and take good care of Dudu. I suddenly remembered how I used to say that after we got married, I would specialize in satisfying his appetite. Go find a cooking class to seriously improve your culinary skills, but he said it wasn't necessary. When I have money in the future, I'll hire a helper to cook. I'll cook when I have time. When Jixia, I didn't marry you to have you spend every day tied to the kitchen. You still have a wonderful life and time ahead of you. I'd rather you go out more, see more, and experience sights you've never seen before. Dodo is whimpering, probably hungry. I went to get some dog food for it. While eating, Dodo kept looking up at me from time to time, as if I would run away if it didn't pay attention. After eating, I played frisbee with Dudu in the garden again. That used to be his favorite sport. I first pretended to throw the frisbee but actually hid it behind my back. I repeated this 3 times before finally throwing it for real. Dudu used to fall for my tricks. Later, I became smarter, but to make me happy, it would play along and pretend to be fooled. This time was no different. When I finally threw it, Dudu was overjoyed and dashed off to catch the frisbee. I'm also very happy. He whistled excitedly, but suddenly, Fu Chuan's voice suddenly sounded urgent, and his wrist was abruptly gripped tightly. You, who exactly are you? 2 years ago, when I had just passed away, Fu Chuan promised me. He said he would be fine, he would eat well, sleep well, continue to work well, and also take good care of Dudu. But after my soul left my body, I saw Fu Chuan holding my lifeless body, crying like a child, for 2 whole days. He was like a lonely beast that had lost its mate, on the verge of losing control. He wouldn't allow anyone to touch my body, even if I must be cremated. He cried day and night, sitting on the ground, holding my hand, calling my name over and over again, call me wife. On the day I was cremated, he rushed forward frantically like a madman. He looked as if he wished he could join me in the cremation furnace. Several male friends struggled with great effort to hold him back. Brother Chuan, snap out of it. Sister-in-law would be sad to see you like this. That's right, Chuan. Please accept our condolences and take care of yourself. Fu Chuan suddenly seemed as if all his strength had been drained. As though his body had been hollowed out, he knelt on the ground, holding my portrait. He wailed loudly, and I could only drift in the air from afar, anxiously pacing back and forth, head bowed. I've gone mad too. I struggled frantically as I drifted downward, trying to embrace him one more time, but soon, a powerful suction from behind swept me away. When I woke up again, I was already at the river of forgetfulness, but I spent 2 whole years trying to cross, and I couldn't make it. Nor could I forget my past, until even the king of hell grew weary. I was given a chance to be revived once, although it was in someone else's body. I am already quite satisfied. Let me see him again. Seeing that he is still alive and well, I am very happy. What's wrong, President Fu? I'm He Ping. I turned around and forced a smile onto my face. I am He Ping, an ordinary-looking girl. He Ping, someone who can no longer have a future or entanglements with him. I don't know either. Maybe I'll have to leave this world again at any moment, so I can't acknowledge him. I can't let him suffer the pain of losing me again. From his black pupils, I can even see my own face, ordinary, average. Her skin was a bit dark, with a few small freckles on her cheeks. He stared intently at me, with deep, turbulent emotions and feelings swirling in the depths of his pupils. President Fu, he snapped back to reality. There was a flicker of disappointment in his eyes. It's nothing, he let go. You remind me of someone. I couldn't help but ask, who is it? Watching Dudu running back toward us with the frisbee in his mouth, he said in a somber tone, my wife. My heart stirred. Your wife? I heard she has passed away. He grunted in agreement, sitting down on the bench in the lawn. 2 years, he said softly. She's just like you. She adds garlic when the food gets burnt. I was a bit sweaty. He actually noticed it. She's not good at cooking either. And she always cuts the potato slices too thick. Even your cooking tastes similar. I suddenly felt a pang of guilt. I just saw you throwing the frisbee. I almost mistook her for her. He stretched out his legs, elbows resting on his knees, as Dudu brought the frisbee over, wanting to give it to me. I gave it a meaningful look. I actually understood it. He lowered his head and handed the frisbee to Fu Chuan. Fu Chuan chuckled. But how could you possibly be her? Back when I was with her, Dudu would always run to her without hesitation. Once a person dies, they cannot come back to life. I must really be going crazy. How could I mistake you for her? I didn't know what to say, let alone how to comfort him. People need to look forward. President Fu, your wife would definitely want you to be well. I think that Miss Anna is quite a good person. Fu Chuan suddenly lost his expression, stood up, put his hands in his pockets, and left, starting tomorrow. I'll be staying at Jiuling Mountain for a while. Please take good care of Dudu for me. Why do you have to leave again so soon after just coming back? I watched his retreating figure with reluctance, seeing him take out his phone to make a call. Secretary Chen, please organize the important company documents from the recent period. Yes, we're going to Jiuling Mountain tomorrow, so he had arranged for Secretary Chen to accompany him. I stood there, feeling somewhat at a loss. Suddenly, I don't know what to do with myself. I've already met him. With Secretary Chen around, it seems he's planning to move on as well. My presence has become dispensable. The day after Fu Chuan left, he was going to stay at Jiuling Mountain for half a month. On the 4th day, I started cleaning the room. There were very few things in his room, clean and simple like a showroom. I couldn't find any of my things either. Could it be that they've already thrown everything away? Maybe it's better that they were thrown away. Seeing things reminds me of people. Keeping it would only add to the sadness. After going through the entire villa, there was hardly any particularly dirty area. It has a full smart home system. Everything hardly required me to do anything by hand. When I was cleaning that locked room, curiosity outweighed reason. The door lock was a combination lock. I only entered one set of numbers. The lock opened. The door slowly opened. My birthday. It was pitch black inside, so I opened the curtains. Dust motes danced in the air. I finally saw what was hidden in this room. The furnishings, furniture, and everything in this room are exactly the same as the setup we had during the 5 years we lived in the basement. If it weren't for the sound of the robotic vacuum cleaner, I would even suspect that I had returned to that basement from back then. Even the bathroom has been entirely renovated to resemble that narrow toilet from the old basement. In front of the mirror, my comb and skincare products are placed there. I look into the mirror, some of them have even expired. He couldn't bear to throw them away. Back in the day, when I washed my hair in the basement bathroom, the hot water would often run out halfway through, leaving me shivering and grimacing. He would boil water in an electric kettle for me while helping me rinse my hair. By the time it was his turn to wash, there wasn't enough hot water left. To save a little on the electricity bill, he just rinsed off with the lukewarm water. After drying my hair, I quickly snuggled into the blanket. I wanted to warm his hands. He hugged his arms and refused me. It's cold. I'll hold you later. Be good. And now, in the wardrobe, all my things are there. His clothes are hanging side by side with his clothes. It's as if we were an old married couple who have lived together for decades, including the bedsheets, and it's still covered with my favorite small floral daisy 4-piece set. I walked to the bed and sat down, opened the drawer, took out my diary. Sometime after I died, someone continued writing in my diary. It is Fu Chuan's handwriting. Bold and flowing, unmistakably his script, only some parts seem to have been blurred by water stains. November 7th, 2022, Wen Jixia, today is the beginning of winter. I've eaten the dumplings. Do you have any over there? I cooked extra at noon and left them on the table. I wonder if you got to eat them. How time flies. It's already been 2 months since you left. Are you going hungry down there? Do you have enough money to spend? Are any other little ghosts bullying you? If so, send your husband a dream message. I'll find a powerful Taoist priest to help you settle the score. November 22nd, 2022. Wen Jixia, it's snowing lightly today. The floor heating at home is turned up quite high now, but I still feel cold. Maybe it's because I can't hold you. So cold. In the past during winter, you were like a little heater. Holding you would let me sleep peacefully. Xia Xia, Now I suffer from insomnia night after night. Unable to fall asleep peacefully. January 21st, 2023, when Jixia, I've come to your parents' home for the new year, they're both in good health, so don't worry. When Jixia, I've stolen all your childhood photos, there are so many I've never seen before. Turns out you had some awkward-looking phases too. Your parents said that the old man next door lost his wife a while ago, a few days ago. He woke up in the middle of the night claiming he saw his deceased wife. He was so frightened that he screamed and ended up in the hospital. When Jixia, I was really angry. Everyone else has their wives visiting. Why can't you come to see me in my dreams? I have never once dreamed of you. February 7th, 2023, the company has been so busy lately. I'm exhausted, but it seems like this way I can slightly numb my mind that keeps missing you, so I won't be so heartbroken. March 10th, 2023, I'm really angry. The kind that can't be coaxed. I finally dreamed of you last night. I wanted to talk to you, but you ran away immediately. Dudu was also barking all night. Is it really you coming to see me? Next time, let me know earlier. I haven't shaved for days. May 12th, 2023, Shia. I now have a lot of money, more than we could spend in our next lifetime. But with you not by my side, all of this has lost its meaning. June 1st, 2023, Shia. I went to donate money. I went to fulfill your old wish. I donated a lot of money to the children in the mountainous areas and set up a fund for them. I also built many elementary schools for them. You should be happy for me, right? My tears haven't stopped since the moment I saw the diary. But when I read the diary entries from the following days, April 28th, 2024, the bucket list is almost complete. I felt a chill run through my body. There's just one last item left, hiking up Jiuling Mountain to watch the sunrise. When Jixia, forgive me for breaking my promise, I can't move on. Please forgive me. Shia, wait for me. I'll be with you soon. When I read this, my whole body turned cold, as if I had fallen into an ice cave. Is Fu Chuan going to commit suicide? How did you get in? Chen Anna's scream shattered the silence of the room. She patted her chest, still shaken. Oh my God, this room is locked. How did you get in? Didn't I tell you? President Fu doesn't allow anyone to enter this room. Are you doing this on purpose? I always feel there's something off about you. Are you here to steal from the Fu family? Speak up. If you don't, get out of the Fu residence right now. You're fired. Chen Anna, wasn't she supposed to be with Fu Chuan at Jiuling Mountain? I ignored her insults and took out my phone to call Fu Chuan. The phone was turned off. I was panicking. I could barely stand. I rushed over and grabbed her arm. Where is Fu Chuan? Where is he in Jiuling Mountain? When Chen Anna and I arrived at Jiuling Mountain Villa together, there was no one in the hotel room. His luggage and other belongings were all there. The hotel staff said he went hiking with his backpack yesterday afternoon. Chen Anna was also terrified. How is that possible? President Fu has always been normal. How could he possibly do something so desperate? The mountain search and rescue team has also arrived. I went with them to search. In the Jiuling Mountains this season, the weather is highly changeable. It is easy to suffer from hypothermia, and once hypothermia sets in, a person becomes extremely vulnerable. By nearly midnight, a thick fog has risen in the mountains. Rescue personnel recommend suspending the search to avoid causing new casualties. Yet, deep down, something seems to be telling me that Fu Chuan is not far from me. While they are resting, I set off along a small path. 2 hours later, in a mountain hollow, I found Fu Chuan, who had already passed out. His leg was injured. I carried him on my back. The advantage of this current body became evident. It was strong and robust, capable of carrying a tall man like Fu Chuan, who stood at over 6 feet, without much effort. The moon in the mountains illuminated the path ahead for us. I called out his name. H1, don't fall asleep. You promised me. If you dare fall asleep, I swear I'll never speak to you again. If you dare come looking for me, I'll immediately be reborn. I'll be reborn and grow up quickly. Then marry someone else. Don't marry someone else. The person on his back shifted slightly, voice hoarse. Consciousness seemingly blurred. Shia, must be dreaming again. This dream is too good. I hope I never wake up. With a trembling voice, I said, you must wake up. You have to take care of my parents. Take care of Dudu, Fu Chuan. You promised me. You can't go back on your word. I carried him to the nearest forest cabin. After notifying the rescue team, I lit a fire and gave him some supplements to regain his strength. His mouth was tightly shut. His thin lips were pressed tightly together. His eyelashes cast a bluish-black shadow on his face. I had no choice but to take a sip of the supplement, lower my head, and pour it into his mouth. His lips were dry, while mine were cold. When I pried open his mouth, his Adam's apple moved. He finally swallowed it. I repeated the same method. I fed him an entire can of supplement. His body was gradually warming up as well. Just as I finished feeding him the last bite and stood up, his hand suddenly lifted and pressed against the back of my neck, forcing the two of us to deepen the kiss. Lips and tongues met, entwining and chasing each other. I am crying, and so is he, but later, he still briefly fainted due to exhaustion. The rescue team has also arrived. Chen Anna rushed over, crying as if she were truly worried about Fu Chuan. Fu Chuan has been hospitalized. He seemed to think that what happened in the cabin was just a dream. I went to see him with the driver, but Chen Anna stopped me. Although it's not as tense as before, but there is still some hostility. I don't know what exactly you're trying to do, and I thank you for saving Mr. Fu yesterday. But you need to understand that your actions have far exceeded the scope of your duties. She took out a thick envelope. There's 50,000 yuan inside as my gratitude for you saving Mr. Fu, but you're fired. I took one last distant look at him through the window and left. Fu Chuan. I didn't answer. I had a very, very long dream. He dreamed that Xiaxia had returned. He also dreamed that she leaned down to kiss him. He also dreamed that she scolded him with tears in her eyes, saying that if he continued to be so narrow-minded, she would marry someone else. He would not allow it. If she really marries someone else, he would be jealous to the point of going crazy. Actually, this isn't the first time he's thought of giving up. The first time it happened, it was not long after Xiaxia had just been buried. He stood on the rooftop, watching the endless stream of traffic below. He was just about to throw himself down. Someone grabbed his hand. She is a little girl. Her face is round, and she is holding a rubber band. Her eyes look very much like Xiaxia's. She told me, "Brother, if you fall like this, you'll be shattered to pieces. It must be very ugly. Your family would definitely be sad too. It must be fucking ugly as hell." Xiaxia loved touching his face the most. Yes, if he's too ugly, she would definitely look down on him. Later, he found a wish list in Xiaxia's diary. Those were all the things he wanted to do with me. He had to complete these things first. This way, when he goes to see her again, she might be a little less angry with him. This busy period lasted for 2 years, but to him, the time felt so long. When Jixia. The days without you are the longest and most unbearable time in the world. That day when he returned home, he actually saw a woman in the house, and she was holding Dudu. Her eyes are so gentle. He thought, this woman, she actually somewhat resembles his wife. In fact, their appearances and figures are completely different. But for some reason, he felt in his heart, this person, she was the reincarnation of his wife's spirit. But he couldn't say it out loud. He was afraid of scaring her. He was also afraid that he might be having such thoughts because he had actually gone mad, until she finished cooking and threw the frisbee. Only then did he completely confirm it. She is Wen Jixia, but she doesn't seem to intend to acknowledge him. She even wants to set him up with another woman. In this world, how could there be 2 people with exactly the same habits and mannerisms? He was confused. He had to hurry to Jiuling Mountain. He wanted to ask the master if Wen Jixia had returned. If so, he needed to fulfill his vow quickly, then hide her away. The master is in seclusion. And then, on the 3rd day when he met the master only told him, "It feels like an old friend has come." That's it. He knelt in the temple, kowtowing one after another. So overjoyed that he didn't know what to do with his hands and feet. There's no signal in the mountains. On the way down the mountain, he accidentally slipped into a ravine, hit his head, and broke his leg. He also lost consciousness. In his daze, he felt as if someone was carrying him on their back. She cried while begging me to live on. He also wants to live well, but she doesn't understand. The only meaning in his life that has kept him going until today is her. Earn money, buy a big house, everything is for her. She is the driving force behind his journey. He lost his heart. How can he live? And now, after waking up in the hospital, only then did he find out, Chen Anna had actually fired her behind his back. He flew into a rage. Got straight out of bed, but ended up falling to the ground. Chen Anna was so frightened that she remained motionless. As he was helped back to bed by the caregiver, Chen Anna burst into tears. Mr. Fu, after all, I've been with you for 2 years. How could you treat me like this because of a nanny? He pointed toward the door. You are not the only one in my secretary team. The others are just delayed abroad due to a major contract. The reason you've had the chance to stay by my side recently is simply because Secretary Liu likes you and privately asked me to give you more opportunities to prove yourself. But on the day I returned, I noticed from the surveillance footage that you seemed to have intentionally changed clothes at my place and even hid a piece of underwear in the room. Didn't you? Who exactly are you putting on this show for? He mercilessly mocked her, his eyes filled with disgust. You're not even worth a single strand of my wife's hair, Chen Anna. But what does this have to do with that caregiver? He couldn't be bothered to explain further, pointing at the door. Get out, you're fired. He couldn't wait to have someone arrange for crutches to be brought, then went home. He desperately tried calling her phone, but the call wouldn't go through. He sent someone to look for her. He was even prepared to call the police. But no one believed that the person was his wife who had died long ago. A terrible thought suddenly crossed his mind. What if she disappeared again? Fu Chuan was pacing around the room like a madman. He saw Dodo, who was restless in the room. He ordered someone to untie the rope that was holding Dodo. Dodo dashed out in an instant. Finally, Dudu found her in a small garden near home. Just like that year when they had a fight, she turned and ran out immediately. And she was also found in the small garden. Now, she is squatting on the flower bed watching ants fight. Clearly different appearances. He still firmly believed this person was Wen Jixia. Xia. When Jixia trembled, she instinctively turned her head. Her pupils were filled with shock. It's no different from before, the kind of person who can't hide anything on their face after picking up money. When Jixia, I followed Fu Chuan back home. We sat in the room he had arranged, snuggling together. It felt like we were back in the old days. We watched the movie playing on the projector. We didn't say much. But for some reason, I felt at ease. I don't know if it's because I've been resurrected, but I'm not sleepy at all at night. Fu Chuan took painkillers and quickly fell asleep. His arm was tightly wrapped around me, and even in his sleep, he refused to let go. It's almost the 7th day. I already have a vague feeling that I'm about to leave. I had another home-cooked meal with Fu Chuan. Then I crawled back into bed. I gave him his medicine. After a while, he suddenly asked me, "Are you still leaving?" I nodded. Yes, it's just a few days I've stolen. I nestled against his chest and poked his face. You, remember not to cry anymore in the future. I can see it, and when I do, I just get unbearably anxious. He hummed in agreement. I continued to mutter. Promise me one more thing. He paused for a moment before responding. I turned his face to mine, locking eyes with him. His eyes were rimmed with red. Every summer from now on, go see the ocean for me. Take my photo and visit every different sea in this world. He was already crying uncontrollably. My body feels lighter and lighter. He lowered his head and kissed my lips. Xia, don't go, Xia. I love you, Chuan. I hope you will cherish the days ahead and continue to live well. Me too. I vanished from that room. He definitely won't dwell on things the way he used to. In the end, tell me, what exactly is troubling you so much? But I know, I crouched by the bridge of forgetfulness, scolding a man who refused to cross. You want to be a holdout like me. Now look at you. Stuck here being punished to help ferry people across. Extra. The man exclaimed. How long is the punishment? I said, I don't know either, maybe 100 years. I'll wait until Archuan's current life ends. Waiting for him to come down, I reincarnated with him. Just wait and see. The man quickly downed the Meng Po soup in one gulp. Forget it then. Meng Po and I couldn't stop laughing as we watched that person's fleeing figure. When Jixia, suddenly, someone on the bridge called out a name. My eyes instantly welled up with tears. It's only been 10 years. Fu Chuan. You. Fu Chuan curved his lips into a smile. I died of old age. I don't believe it. Meng Po secretly whispered to me. He's not lying. Yesterday he saved 3 drowning children, achieved perfect merit, and passed away peacefully when his time came. Only then did I stop being angry. Wiping away tears, she reached out to him from afar and said, Then let's go. I've been waiting for you for a long time. He walked up and took her hand, holding me close. His gaze was both doting and affectionate. I've been waiting for a long time too. Darling, today's story ends here. If you've listened this far, Please leave happy every day in the comments section. Wishing everyone happiness every day.